Welcome back, everyone. I'm joined by Jim Wilson, the assistant sports editor of the Telegram and Gazette and Home Team Magazine. And Jim, always good to have you back in here anyway. Talking football, breaking down some games. Let's go down some of the big games coming up this weekend. St. PeterMarian, Holy Name, right off the bat. I think this is a fantastic game, and it's big for both schools. St. Peter's comes in undefeated. Holy Name's 1-2. They really need this for the playoffs.
Because Holy Name's 1-2, and what's irritating to them is they could be 3-0. They're very close. The Quabbin game was back and forth. The Doherty game, they had him at halftime, and they let Doherty back into it. They ended up winning the game. So I'm sure Holy Name had a great bounce-back win last week. I think they finally started seeing what was wrong and trying to get the ship righted a little bit. But then they play St. PeterMarian, who we've sat at this table for years and saying, when is St. PeterMarian going to beat the good teams? This is the year. They've done a really good job with winning those games. They were toss-ups. They're playing well. Their defense is just shutting teams down. Their offense with whoever they have at quarterback
that's true
is Leary or Boykin. They're doing the job. So they're really impressive so far. They're going to give Holy Name probably the biggest test they've given them in years.
And what they have is two different looks there with Boykin and Leary. Leary's a straight drop-back passer. Boykin can scramble. He's a dual threat to run and pass. Now you have Holy Name. Joe Keiko's getting healthy. They have Josh Riley, who came on, who started his career at St. Peter's. So this is a huge game for him. This is going to be his first game playing for Holy Name, rather. So it gives them another athlete to go with Du Bois, to go with Barbosa. So Holy Name's kind of getting healthy, and meanwhile St. Peter's has great confidence, and they should. 3-0 start, and they just are lights out in the skill positions.
Exactly, and they know going against Holy Name's going to be tough, because I think I've said it before, Holy Name's a team that is a different team than you start the game with, and at halftime they're going to make the adjustments, they're going to find the players that are going to fit in the right holes. Second half, you're fighting a whole different team. So that's going to be tough for St. PeterMarian if they do get the big lead, not to relax a little bit and have Holy Name come back on them, because Holland and those guys, and Granger, great running backs. I mean, there's no Karan Wright there anymore, but I don't think they need to, because they have 3 or 4 good backs that can handle the load.
Yeah, that's true. The last time St. PeterMarian was 3-0 was probably when Card was running the ball, and they had Boyle blowing people up on both sides of the ball.
Owen's never thrown for 200 yards a game.
Auburn and Leicester. This is a good game depending on if Leicester's healthy. If they're fully healthy, it's a great game. If they're not, and they're banged up right now, so if they're not, if Mazzio can't go, if some of these guys can't go, now it's a different game, because this Auburn defense to me is phenomenal. We saw them last week just shut down Northbridge. They're so fast. 11 hats fly to the football.
That's what I said. I said after the Hudson game, when people are leaving them for dead, give them time. They, all but one starter coming back for Auburn this year. They have a great coaching staff. They're going to get these kids ready. The bad boys are coming back to Auburn.
Yeah, they are.
So I'm sure, and like I said, what happened? The Northbridge game, they come out against a great offensive team that was probably a little pissed off from what happened last week against Tantascwa. They came back against Auburn. It was a very good game for them. But Auburn shut them down again. They couldn't get anything done offensively. They couldn't get into a rhythm. That defense is going to do the same thing against Leicester, because they're going to, especially if Mazzio is hurt. If that's the case, and it's the Tom Roderick show,
right,
it's going to be real tough for them to get any traction against Auburn.
Yeah, because you've got everyone focusing. You have 5 linebackers all keen on Roderick. If you don't have that threat of Mazzio booting out, if you don't have the threat of Mazzio passing, then offensively you look at Auburn with Mark Venus and with Wright. It's like the thunder and lightning. Mark Venus pounds it up the middle, and then bang, you can hit right off tackle, you can hit right on the outside. He's so strong, he's so quick. It's a tough offense to stop.
It is, and especially with that, they don't have the big monstrous line, but like
they're still big.
Coach Ripp told me the other day, one of their linemen is the size of 2 of Leicester's linemen. So, I mean, that right there is just tough to get a hold of. I mean, he's taking up a lot of traffic in the middle, letting Wright and Mark Venus and those guys get some room. And all he is one block over the years. So just give him 2 seconds to just distract him, and he's gone.
Yeah, and that's what they do, I think, as well or better than anyone, is the running backs hit the point of attack so quickly. They don't dance. There's no hesitation. They know where they're going to be, and they have confidence in their line that the hole is going to be there. Looking at another one, St. John's and Neshoba. The last team to beat Neshoba was St. John's, as you pointed out. 29 straight for Neshoba, so a lot on the line. This is a different Chieftains team, but still, this is a team that's talented and has shown it this season.
You got to respect it, Neshoba. We're not, like I said, it's a different team, but they're still very good. They still know what it takes to win. Last 3 years, they've watched these teams just not lose a game. None of these kids in the Neshoba line want to be the team that break the streak. They want to, and no one against St. John's, a team that's coming off a close win against Fitchburg, a game that many felt that they lucked into that kick return at time expired to win that game. St. John's got a lot of people approving, because a lot of people are saying they're keep counting them out in the Division II race.
Right, and McGillicuddy with that fantastic kick return. But all week long, Coach Andreoli and his staff are going to be all over their guys saying, No one thinks you're good enough.
Right.
No one thinks that you can hang with all the top teams in Central Mass. So they're going to be stoking the fires a little bit there, and then see if they don't mix things up a little bit offensively too, and give Neshoba a different look.
Right, because I don't think the Neshoba's had that breakout game either. The one a couple of years ago they just blow out teams. They're winning games, which is all that matters. But then
Right.
so I think they want that statement game to say, hey, because Division II is really really close right now. There's a couple, Leominster and a couple other teams are right there. And I can see anybody winning that division.
Right.
So I think they want to sort of establish themselves as one of the teams to watch in next couple weeks.
Division 6, we have West Boylston and Maynard. Harold Ogilvie right now is on the Rodney Dangerfield I don't get no respect tour. But Maynard's a little banged up. Sean Peterson's hurt. This is a good game. This is a great measuring stick game for both teams. Okay, Maynard's undefeated. They're taking on the defending Super Bowl champs in West Boylston. See where they're at. I saw West Boylston last week against Lunenburg.
Huge win against
Hard-hitting team,
Yeah.
too. The Lions bring their hitting hats. That was as hard-a-hitting game between those two teams as I've seen this year. And West Boylston has a lot of different weapons. They can run. They can throw the play action. They're a good football team.
And they got, Brian Hayes is one of the best players in Central Mass, hands down. I mean, both sides of the ball. He's a guy that I'm sure Maynard is wondering what do we do to stop this kid? Because
Right.
Remember Harold used to coach at West Boylston with Tingloff.
Yep.
And I think so. It's a big game for him to sort of just get established, not only to just get the win, because that's really important, but just to put the program on the map. He's done good things over in Maynard. Peterson's established as one of the best running backs in Central Mass. I think if he's healthy, and hopefully he is,
Right.
because I'd like to see them come in there healthy against the West Boylston to sort of see what they have. Because let's be honest, South and Maynard, Murdoch weren't really good tests for them.
Right.
They had a great test against Narragansett that came out on top. So they're 3-0. I think they want that statement game like we were talking about with the show.
And this gives them that opportunity. Looking quickly at the divisions, because we're basically at the midway
Halfway point.
right now. It's week 4, midway point of the regular season. Some teams I'm looking at on the bubble, like Division 2. Fitchburg's 1-2, Shrewsbury's 1-2. Two very good teams, but two teams that kind of got to get a couple wins
Right.
here the next couple weeks, or they may be on the outside.
Right, and remember Shrewsbury, they lost in the last couple of seconds to St. PeterMarian. So I think Terry's, going to get those guys back. He's got his quarterback back. I think they're going to start winning a couple games. Fitchburg, meanwhile, though, they really impressed me against St. John's last week. I think they blew the guys off the line of scrimmage, which you don't really see in St. John's too often. Not only that, but they had 2 100-yard rushers against St. John's, which rarely happens. Usually it's one kid just going crazy. They had 2 guys that just couldn't stop. Fitchburg, looking at the schedule, they could win out towards the playoffs. I mean, that's a very good Fitchburg team, even though the record may not indicate it.
Well, I saw Fitchburg and Shepherd Hill, first game of the season. Shepherd Hill beat them. Shepherd Hill scored 2 touchdowns in the first half, didn't score again. I mean, that was a dogfight.
Right.
That's how good Fitchburg is.
Nick Miles is a shutdown coach. I mean, he's averaging about 2 picks a game because he's a guy you don't want to throw to.
Darrell Rivas. Division 5, Gardner's 1-2, Northbridge is 1-2. Same thing. It's you don't think these are 2 very good teams, but again, 2 teams that need to get a couple wins here.
And Gardner showed a lot last week. Quab is one of my teams I had in the mix for that division, that crazy Division 4, where there's about 5 or 6 teams I think can win that division. Gardner came down and got the win. That's a big win for Gardner. That's one of the games that you look at and say, this could be what turns their season around. With Northbridge, it's hard to say, can Northbridge keep on the bad side of these games for much longer? I mean, they're too good a coaching staff. They have too much talent. Tabor and Gatto, probably 2 of the best linemen you're going to see in Central Mass.
Right.
And so I think with the talent there, they got to get some wins soon.
All right, Division 4 and Division 6 are going to have to wait till next week. Fast
always.
8 minutes
Always.
in TV. Willie, we always appreciate it. We're back with more of the Frenzy Extra right after this.